job tonight.
Praise from President Barack Obama to his defense secretary just minutes before he delivered his State of the Union address. What those watching didn't know was that at that moment, 12,000 kilometers away in the Somali town of Adado, U.S. Special Forces had just rescued 2 hostages. The kidnappers, 9 men in all, were killed. American Jessica Buchanan and Poul Thisted of Denmark had been taken at gunpoint from the town of Galkayo in October. They had been teaching residents there about demining. Obama authorized the rescue on Monday after learning of Buchanan's declining health, and the decision to send in a joint U.S. Special Operations team came on Tuesday.
It was once again a remarkable testament to the Special Operations Forces. These guys are absolutely incredible.
This is the second major success in less than a year for U.S. Special Forces. Last May, Navy SEAL Team 6 led the operation in Afghanistan that resulted in the killing of Osama bin Laden. After his speech, the president called Buchanan's father to give him the good news. His daughter was safe and would soon be coming home. Rosiland Jordan, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Let's get more now from Rosiland Jordan. She joins us from the State Department in Washington, D.C. Well, Rosiland, this is the first major direct military intervention by the U.S. in Somalia since the early 1990s. Why? Is it electionitis?
No, it's not, Sammy. The State Department and the White House had been very much aware of the case of Jessica Buchanan from the moment that she was abducted in Somalia. And they were trying to see whether or not the Danish organization for which she and Mr. Thisted worked would be able to negotiate some sort of rescue for them. The only reason why they decided to act now was because there have been some reports that her health had been declining in recent days. Perhaps she might have been suffering some sort of liver ailment, and because Special Forces thought that they might be able to pull off this operation, the president went ahead on Monday evening, Washington time, and authorized it. It was very, very risky because, as we have noted, the U.S. has been quite reluctant to actually be inside Somalia, given the precarious state of the government there.
So this doesn't represent any sort of change in policy, U.S. policy towards Somalia, because it seems that up until this point, the U.S. has been happy in the last few years to let other countries sort of take the front seat in the conflict there.
That's right. This does not represent any real change in the way that the U.S. is going to be engaging with Somalia. There are UN peacekeeping troops in the country that are trying to support what the government in Mogadishu has been doing, but the U.S. has been extremely reluctant to actually do anything more than provide a few military advisors on an occasional basis to try to give some assistance, as it were, to the government in Mogadishu. There is just this real sense that you don't want to see what happened, particularly in October 1993, a helicopter being shot down, one of the so-called blackhawks, and the bodies of 18 U.S. troops being dragged through the streets of Mogadishu. There is still a very painful memory for the U.S. military. They didn't want to do it again. This was a very high-stakes operation, and they say that they feel fortunate that the Special Forces were able to pull this off without either getting the hostages injured or without losing any of the men involved.
All right, thanks for that. Wrapping the word from the State Department there, Rosiland Jordan.